Well, a very good morning to you, Mayor Richard Strick, joining us in studio. Mayor, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, Monty. How are you today?
I am doing great. And yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
Fantastic. Well, what have you got in store for us this Thursday?
Yeah, this morning we've got a special guest with us today. Today we've got Sheriff Chris Newton here to talk and share with listeners about the jail expansion and remodel project that's been going on for the couple of years here. Chris and his team have done a great job over the county with adapting to changing circumstances as legislation's changed down to the State House and helping to make sure that our community is prepared to adapt to it.
All right. Well, we're definitely looking forward to talking to Chris about that. And Chris, good morning to you. Welcome into the studio here. Yeah, that didn't sound like Chris.
Long time no see, Monty. How are you?
It's doing great. You do a great Dave the Wave imitation. That's kind of funny.
It sort of scared me a little bit, to be honest.
Way to scare the guests. Well, hey, we always have to make sure you're wide awake here in the studio, and so we do that. Well, anyway, so yes, we're talking about the jail expansion and legislation. Paint for our listeners a picture of kind of what that legislation looked like and how it affected you guys and what's going on with that.
Yeah, so I think you have to go back historically. Our jail was built in 1981, 82. We have always been over capacity. We're a 99-bed jail facility. I think we have exceeded for the last 5 sheriffs. A general population of about 140 inmates, so we've always been over capacity. And then with the recent legislation change, it was called House Bill 1006. What that required was they changed a lot of the drug laws. So now a lot of the people that are convicted of drug crimes, instead of going to prison, they now stay local. They originally told us they expected to only be maybe 10-15% increase at what we would see, but we actually saw probably a 50 to 60% increase. So you add that on top of the numbers that we already had, like 140. We were way over max, and something desperately needed to be done.
I can certainly understand that, and I imagine so. The idea for this expansion project, what was its genesis? I mean, obviously we know the legislation made it necessary to make it so, but were there people that say, hey, I have this idea, we can build here, or how did it all come about?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. People don't ever want to spend money, and so our county council just want to be very frugal. We don't do things until we have to do it, and when all this was happening, the ACLU got involved, and they started sending letters out to county. They named, obviously, me as the sheriff, our county commissioners, and said that, guys, you need to make a change. Something's got to be done. So that's really what prompted it and getting the wheels moving on this.
So now that change has been made, tell us about what has been done.
So we started probably about 3 years ago. We started the planning process. We've been working with DLZ and YGAN contractors. We just recently completed the new side of our jail. So if you can imagine where our jail currently sits, we're actually split into 2. We still have the old side of the jail, we have the administrative side, and then we have the new jail. On the old side, we're still going to be 99 beds, but we're adding in some medical facilities, and that's the part that's being worked on right now. Our new side, we added about 130 beds, 116 in general population, and 18 in what we call kind of confinement areas. So those are the people that are having mental health problems, they're suicidal, they're too violent to put in with general population. We can keep them separate and on TV monitors so our jail staff can watch them. So right now we've moved everybody over. Last Wednesday we moved everybody into the new section. It's nice. It's the design feature is much better than what it ever has been. And right now YGAN is working on the old side, and hopefully we'll have that done maybe by August.
Okay, so there is a deadline in the future, or a projected deadline of finishing all this project. Now, has there ever been a problem with overspill from other counties, and is that part of what might have created the overpopulation? Because I know sometimes, if we don't have room here, we're going to send them over here, and thus and so on. Does that become a problem here in our world?
Yeah, so in the beginning, before we started building the new jail and actually got it done, we were having to subcontract with other counties. So we were constantly taking inmates to Steuben, DeKalb, Miami County, who had newer facilities and more room because of it. And, of course, we have to pay them $37.50 a day for every inmate we take them. So it was costing us money.
Oh, wow. Well, then that's definitely, with this expansion, that's going to cut that cost and help you keep everything locally. I mean, ultimately, overpopulation is a problem, and we want to see some of that go down in numbers. But it's great that you have the ability to build this new facility and to make it work for you guys. Has the community at large been very supportive of this and on board with you?
Yeah, you never really know how it's going to be taken when you tell people that they're going to have to raise $17 million and it's going to affect tax base. But overall, I think everybody has realized that this has been a problem, and it's not going to go away. It's only going to increase, and we have to prepare for it. The old jail was old. It needs to be remodeled. I've invited our county commissioners over in last week to take a look at the conditions. If it wasn't for this add-on so that we could move everybody over and work on the old side, I'm not sure what we'd be doing. I mean, it was in bad shape. We had people sleeping on the floors. Regardless of why an individual is in a county jail, it's the sheriff's responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of. And it just doesn't seem humane to have people sleeping on floors next to toilets. And I know everybody has an opinion. I've been offered those opinions by people in the past. But we need to be able to treat them like human beings. And so with our new facility and being able to have rooms, they can do their time and hopefully get back to their families and get their feet on straight.
That is awesome, and I imagine that there are talks or maybe talks about developing programs where they can get like a work release or become valuable members of society and hopefully really benefit from the rehab of the criminal rehabilitation system. And, of course, that's probably another topic for another time, but it sounds like we're off to a good start with this expansion and the remodel, and that remodel is going pretty good on that side as well, too. Is that correct?
The remodel's looking awesome. I mean, we're having to, anytime you add on, you have to prepare for it, and that means washers and dryers. You need more of that. You need a bigger kitchen. And I'll touch on something you hit on I think is very important, and to let your listeners know. Jails were never really built for rehab or programs and things of that nature. We were supposed to be short-term holding facilities. When people went to prisons, that's where they actually got these programs, and they got the help that they needed. So that's something that we really needed to look at with our design processes. Since we have people in here and we're having them in our jails longer, what can we do to help them so they're just not spending their time just sitting here laying around doing nothing? And part of our project on the old side and new side, we're actually going to have classrooms, and we're going to be able to offer multiple programs inside there with any type of substance abuse. We have one cell that we completely designed. It's going to be what they call for JCAP. It's a jail chemical addiction program, and there will be certain people that meet the criteria through the court to be put into that program, and we'll have people come in, banking leaders, people from all over the community. There's a lot of folks in there that don't even know how to balance a checkbook. And so this is going to try and help them to get their feet on straight, get them the resources they need, and eventually they can transition out of there and go to community corrections, which is starting a great program also out at Victory Knoll. And it will be a continuation of the same program they started in jail. They'll continue out at community corrections, and it'll be more of a long-term process because people with addiction issues, which is 90% of what we have in our jail, they just don't have the resources. And it's not going to be something that's just solved overnight or serving 3 days in jail and a few days on community corrections. It's a long-term support process, and that's what we're working for.
Well, and I have to applaud that accolades because you're right. So many people do spend time incarcerated, and then they get out, and proverbially they fall through the cracks. I mean, it's hard for them to readapt, or they may not be able to find a job. But it sounds like with these programs and this classroom facility, that could definitely take a swing in an upward or more positive direction. So I applaud that.
Thank you. We're excited about it also.
Well, I certainly do appreciate you coming down. Is there anything that anyone could do? Maybe someone's hearing this program and they say, what can I do to help out, or how can I get involved? Is there any kind of community involvement like that you could use some people's help or what have you?
I think as we get this thing up and running, and hopefully we'll be completely done with this entire project, hopefully by August. And at that point, I'm going to start reaching out to community members. Again, I'm going to need a lot of help with that JCAP program. We have a lot of community and faith-based organizations that want to come in, and we had been doing a lot of church classes, Bible studies. We had a lot of programs in place, but when COVID hit, it took us back to the very beginning because we couldn't have people in our facility. Because once something like that gets into a jail facility, it runs rampant. And so I'm really looking forward to having the space, We've always had great community support inside our jail, and I'm just ready to look forward to getting that ball rolling again.
Well, I certainly wish you all the best, and thank you for taking time to come by and chat with us about it this morning. And you'll definitely have to keep us posted on the programs and how things are going. Maybe come back again when it's closer to finished and let us know how it's working.
You tell me when, and I'll be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much. Chris Newton, our sheriff, doing a great job. And Mayor, thank you for stopping by and bringing Mr. Newton by. It's been very informative this morning. So we appreciate that.